Hello, this is an introduction to the following video that I've been trying to make for almost a year now, and I plan to upload it on the last year's Easter, considering it's about Jesus' resurrection, but I have failed to do so. And so I gave myself a new timeline, well, this year's Easter, which interestingly falls on the same date for both Orthodox and Catholics. So I also thought that was a little bit of a cute sign. Maybe it's gonna be a better timing in some way. I don't know. Uh, Also, it's a very long video. I'm not sure if it could be done in a shorter format. I mean, there's a lot of explanation, over explanation sometimes, and I'm not entirely happy with it. I mean, I have many attempts, and it exhausted me. So the last time when I get closest to how I imagined or intended it, also the video cut off, so I have to reshoot that part with some, well, in the last 5 or 10 minutes there were very crucial points to the whole argument, and I don't think I can do without that. So I have to reshoot that as well and stick to the previous. And also I mean I made myself watch it, and to be honest, as an average viewer, I'm not really sure I would listen to myself for more than a few minutes. Like there are parts that I got myself interested in, that I got invested in, but for the most part, I mean, there are just so many things that were annoying, and like, I don't know, basic grammar sometimes, weak word choice. There could be better words I could have chosen. Um, Entanglement in my thoughts, sidetracking from the topic, repetitiveness, entanglement in my thoughts, and sidetracking sometimes as well. Yeah, so that's pretty much things that I remarked to myself. So if you could see through that a little bit, bear with me. And this is something that is on my mind for a long time, and I know I have to do it, say it. I don't know if it's important or not, doesn't matter. But if you would bear with me a little bit, hopefully you could see some sense in it, and yeah. I'm going to attempt to explain something that seems to be easily taken for granted, but yet I consider it the one of the most challenging, well, things to consider and have any clues about it. As I titled it, resurrection, so it is about physical the physical resurrection of Jesus, and did it or did it not happen? Uh, and I guess it stems out from the inner experiences that I've had in recent years, mostly regarding dreams, which I'm hopefully gonna lay out in a proper order to show some sort of consistency and, let's say, reasonable trajectory of sustainable, reasonable thinking. Uh, I'm not really sure if I should say by saying what I believe about the issue, or I should maybe lead myself towards that, to conclude with that. Uh, but I guess I'm gonna figure it out as I go, and hopefully say it in a proper order, so that I meet my point. So as I said, it regards. I guess I should say, but I should start with saying what I think about the issue. But there is another problem with it because I don't. I guess I have to explain the position I'm coming from, because I don't even want to say that I believe in it. I want to say that I know. As preposterous as that may sound, or even arrogant, because I want to do also something similar to uh, how Jung answered when he was asked if he believed in God, and he would say, he would reply, "I don't believe I know," meaning know that there is God. I guess it's an intrinsically unquestionable thing. At least it was for him. But I want to speak with that kind of conviction, because I think I truly understand what he meant by that. Uh, Most of what he meant by that is that, well, he didn't want to consider himself among the typical religious person, typical believer at the time, and I'm also not that way. So I wanna say something. I'm trying to say something that is only mine here, I guess. So it doesn't come from any other uh, direction. So I'm not. I guess I'm not the proponent of believing for the sake of believing. I don't think it leads anywhere. I don't think it saves in any it helps, saves to say, to use a more, let's to give it a more religious tone or spin. I don't think it helps. I don't think it guides. But there is a point where faith and belief is superior to knowledge, under condition that a person exhausts the knowledge first, everyone to its own capacity. But just saying believing for the sake of believing and not really knowing why, having no foundation or clues or direction to point your beliefs, it's just, I guess, it's useless. So so I wanna when I say why I believe slash know that he in fact did resurrect, I'm laying out my inner experiences that led me to that conclusion. So I am somewhere in the. Of course, I can say it's knowledge. I mean, What am I doing? I'm analyzing dreams, and we're going to talk about something that, well, it's some other types of the dreams that are not even cannot fall into the category of uh, being able to be analyzed ones, I guess. Uh, Visions. So I want to say that I know, but of course, I know. I mean, no, I want to say I believe, but based on a solid grounds that were kind of shown to me and proven to me. So where do I now start to guide my mind, to guide the reason towards the conclusion he did physically in fact resurrect. So I'm going to start at I guess at first time when I experienced what I would call vision, and I'm using the word vision by not knowing what other people, literary works, scriptures mean by it. I know what I mean by that. So I've I've seen, well, it's not nothing grandiose really. I don't think I would be able to call that a vision even, but it was more more personal, local, banal kind of thing, but very unusual experience. So the situation was, the context is that I've I've started a new job. So I stopped waitering. I think I exhausted myself of that kind of endeavor, and then I hit the wall as well at the same time, and that was just over. Let's say that was going for a year, and I couldn't anymore. It was very difficult times, I guess. I wasn't probably the strongest person ever, but I was trying something authentic, and I guess being authentic. But and there was I was constantly in some sort of difficulty, existential, and it came to the point that I couldn't really work anymore as a waiter in the city that I was was working. And then the opportunity arose. So almost in the days after that, I would I would apply. I could apply for a position of a online English teacher, and I've done that. I got the job, luckily, uh, and now it works. It works like um, it works in a way that you you download this app right away, which shows it is the app of the official app of the school, in which every teacher should have, so that they could see um, the schedule basically when you have classes. So if you're not close to your schedule on the computer laptop, so you have it on the phone and you can check it anytime, anywhere. And on the app, you see your open slots. You open the slots and you hope someone would book your slots, and that's how you have a class basically. And at first you're probably promoted, and yeah, less relevant, but anyway. Uh, so I guess that was like, so 3 days in my new job. Already it started going a little bit slowly. I guess I kind of I thought it's not going to work out, because I hadn't gotten many booked classes. Like first 1 or 2 days it was fine, and then it started getting weak. And after a few days, so I had this app which I could see my reserved slots, and I would go to sleep. I think it was around, like, I don't know. So I mean, it doesn't matter. It's midnight. I'm going to sleep. I've I've opened the slots for the day after, hoping someone would book them as, but not really thinking like, well, it's already last 2 days was basically nothing is going to be the same, almost like giving up on it. And I did not set my alarm clock. I guess I'm explaining the reason why I didn't. So I haven't set my alarm clock, and I go to sleep. I book the slots. I mean, I open the slots, and I haven't set the alarm to wake up, because I open from like 7 a.m. to 12 p.m. And I haven't set an alarm to wake up, I guess, at 6, before 7 at least, to check if there were any booked. So I go to sleep, and sorry, I need to just drink a glass of water. I'll be right back. All right, so I went to sleep, and that night I had this dream for the first time in my life, of something of that kind. I dream I guess I dream that I wake up, that I get out of my bed, I walk towards my table, pick up the phone, open the app, and I'm checking the schedule, if something was booked or not. All of that is happening in a dream. Very, very vivid, very like obvious, like almost like watching a movie. Doing all of that very lucidly, being aware of what I'm doing, and seeing everything clearly. So that this is why I say, when I say vision, primarily I mean the it has these visionary elements, I guess. The way the way the way of very fabric of the dream felt. So um, lucid and like high resolution kind of imagery. And I'm doing all of that. I'm walking towards the table, opening the app, I'm checking, and I see on the app, this is in a dream still, and I see on the app the the slots were booked at 7:30 to 8:30 and 8:30 to 9:30, and that's all. And the rest up until noon was empty. So two classes of 1 hour were booked, and that immediately like wakes me up, like snaps me up, snaps me out of a dream. And I jump out of bed. Yeah, they do all the same. Obviously, I repeat the process I just dreamt about. I go to the table, take the phone, open the app, and I see this exactly same thing, exactly. So almost only two slots, only two classes booked, 7:30 to 8:30, 8:30 to 9:30. I've that never happened to me before. I don't know if it happened to anyone. I would say it happens, but but to me that was the first time that something to what I had to really. I didn't know how to think. I just sat down. I had to say to myself, well, this happened. Remember that this happened and this can happen. This is possible. So something that I couldn't have possibly known, no prior knowledge of, I could see like being around me. I don't want to go now into making some theories about it and make it sound more scientific. I could do that. I was doing that as well, but I'm gonna skip that part. So I guess I'll say the unconscious can obviously offer the consciousness what's happening outside of the perimeter of the consciousness itself. That is possible, and we could call that a um, what does it say, like prophetic dream, precognitive dream. Uh, it's okay to say call it a vision as well. It's safe to say that. I don't know what other people mean by vision, but for me that was the first time that opened me towards the word vision, I guess, because I saw something I could not possibly see. So that was the first time. All right, so that now established I guess a foundation on which I'm building now my truth, my my cosmos. Miroslav Jovanovic. Okay. Well, yeah. All right. So I'm building my point, and so I guess I should fast forward to the second of the similar experiences. So after that, like obviously affected by something that I now extended my uh, my awareness of what is the word? Something that extended the awareness of unknown. Uh, and the second time that something similar happened would be 2 months after. Um, 2 months after, which now this the first time is the when I obviously have it confirmed that that is what it is. The second time, this one is only based on that same kind of feeling inside a dream, same I would say same fabric, same visionary elements. So the one I'm gonna mention right now is now encouraged by the fact that the previous one happened, and the most similar. Although at the time, I guess I should mention that many similar things were happening like this. I had really strange. I started to have really strange dreams. Overall, uh, the whole that time was something that never really happened to me. I could also safely say, and it started, I guess, without what I would initially call like twin flame journey and whatnot. But now I'm not talking about that's like that's irrelevant. Uh, so So the second time is, and then now the second example is involving that I guess that unfortunate twin flame of mine, and I'm thinking like should I mention that one? I guess the argument for mentioning it, because it is, I guess it belongs to this trajectory which results in a claim that Jesus resurrected in the end. So it should be said. Uh, it's not confirmed, but so it was the same as the first one. So I have to mention it. I guess if one, um, if she watches, she would know if that happened or didn't happen, so she would know for herself. I guess, but I feel like I should mention it. So I've 3 months after, affected, led by the experience of the first app vision, I dream of, well, that the person that twin flame of mine. I saw her at the time. I guess I should say that the context uh, of of the context of that time is important, I guess, to dreams in a sense, because I was doing this correspondence like through YouTube songs as to my list, like that twin flame journey. Like that's the way I guess I was communicating to with her, and I was that meant something to me, and however it sounds, it doesn't matter. At the time, it meant a lot to me. That's the only way of, I guess, some kind of contact and touch with the person. So the so now what and I guess we were sending each other those songs, and then I have all of a sudden this dream. So that, I guess the point is, I guess I should say the dream first. So I saw her like very clearly, like true, like almost movie was played out for me. I saw her in a bed with two men. Now she we're not a couple. When she doesn't know me anything, but there were these song, love, all kinds of meaningful songs, correspondence, in which well, I guess the dream is saying, right, you're doing this and she's doing that, but look what she's actually doing. I guess I needed to see it, and I'm now laying it out I as I know that I couldn't possibly know that happened, and I do believe slash know that happened. So I saw detail. Well, there were details actually. It was like a porn movie. So the I saw her in bed on top of the one man, and there was another man lying next to them, not doing anything, just watching. So that's the scene I got to see in a really strange imagery, like I never experienced in a dream, with the exception of this previous one. And so I guess I'm saying this too. So now if she watches it, uh, well, she could now say, okay, he's onto something. Or if it's not true, then everything I say falls as the house of cards, which I'm glad to set up that way, because I'm after the truth in the end, only thing that matters to me. And with it, I guess, the possibilities of life itself, if this is the truth, that we do live a life that allows miracles to the extent of physical resurrection. Now, that's not a trivial thing. Hmm. Who who knows what would happen to you if you believed it? Huh? I guess. Right. All right. So that's the second time, and now the third time is something new happens. There are like there are underlying commonalities between all of these. They all have uh, these lucid elements. I guess that's of the essence. The awareness, I guess the consciousness is in a dream, uh, a little bit extended, given probably more authority than otherwise. So the the third time I'm dreaming this another dream, and this happened. So that was, I guess it didn't say when it happened. So this the first one happened in around November. November, that's when I got that new job, teaching, first time teaching, November 2019. Yeah, that's where it stopped. That's where the dream happened, not where the strange, I guess, strange dreams happened. Uh, the so now the second one happens, like, I'm not really sure where to place. I guess it would be January of the January of the 2020, because I happen to know exactly what kind of song were exchanged at the time. So yeah, I think I can place it there. On January 2020 was that, was the involving her. And then the third one happens again soon after. The third, very similar to the previous two, had those elements. I'm walking. So the dream is, I'm walking on the field. I'm walking on the field, and now something different happens. I don't see anything, but this is the first time hear I hear a voice, uh, and being fully aware of what of the words and the meaning, and then they're directed at me. And not so this is not like you dreaming, talking, having a conversation with someone, not like that. I'm just walking freely on the field, and I cannot describe the location of and the voice comes somewhere from, well, above, below, some below, above, uh, somewhere more deeper inside. I don't know, but it comes from somewhere, which is obviously it's not me, uh, and telling me, and saying exactly these words, uh, these exact words. They're all gonna see when they stop breathing. They're all gonna see when they stop breathing. Like, it sounded like a threat, and at the same time, it felt, I have to say, like a what's the word in English? It's supposed to con- comfort, something like a what's the noun of comfort? Something that's supposed to comfort me, because when as I said, were really difficult times existentially. I was constantly getting in trouble. Like, I can't. I was just trying to do things right. When I think back, it was a little bit of a, maybe a slightly eccentric, can even say strange way, but I was attending to myself in something. I was holding to it, and I've constantly getting into problems. It resulted in the end that I couldn't really get a job anymore in the in the well, waitering at least. But I mean, screw the waitering. It's I guess it was time for that to end. Uh, so uh, all right, where I'm sidetracking. Yeah, back to this kind of this sort of dream. So I'm walking, and hear the voice above me. I'll say, uh, the very serious, very serious voice, like didn't scare me, but I knew it meant stuff. And now, so he says they're all gonna see when they stop breathing, and that was supposed to, like, I guess, comfort me. I don't know why, but I guess I didn't know how to fight back. And then, well, okay, now comes a little bit tricky part. Then I don't want to say that I'm using this one and I'm saying what it is. In retro aspect, I will come to that, but uh, I'm saying this because this is the dream, and also keep in mind that that influenced by the first one, which was so self evident, and then the second one, I don't have the proof, but I guess I'm laying it out on the basis of the first one, just the visionary elements. And then the second one, uh, I guess I could call that the new experience, to first to even with the voice, and then he said something, and then that was the now this is the it's at least it is interesting to mention the timing, because if I could see, let's say, like what is right away around me, well, it's not that ludicrous to think that you could also see something that will happen soon or here, or have a slightly symbolic way of presenting it. So then this happened uh, around, I'm not really sure, I guess I know it happened, and this is the point, 10 or 15 or 20 days before the COVID. Before the COVID, remember the first one was November 2019. That's where the COVID was in China. We in the West we didn't even know about what's going on. Mostly, I've heard about it because I worked with. I was teaching Chinese children, so there came the news like uh, they would talk about it. So and then in uh, I guess what was exactly end of February, or was not end of January, end of February, I guess, or first half of the March, maybe even end of the March. That's where the news spread globally. We are not here now. We heard first about Italy and Spain being hardly hit by the early pandemic 2020, and people like, I guess the news were, but I'm not questioning the news. The news were that the people basically were flying, were falling like flies. Took a lot of casualties. The virus. Well, it was the unprecedented thing, I guess, but not to go now into COVID and all of it stirred up. Uh, uh, so I'm only connecting the boys. Like they're all gonna see when they stop breathing, and then a week. So I know it happened like a week or two before the actually heard about the news about COVID in Europe spreading first in Italy and Spain. I had a dream. So based on that, and I look back when the COVID started, January or February, uh, end of something, or March. Uh, I'm saying this dream happened. I know after this. So my first, second one, after the second one, maybe a month after. This was January. Maybe I had it end of the January, or in February. I'm not sure. So the week or two before the COVID started, and I knew so these boys, they're all gonna see when they stop breathing. I mean that hit me like that. I knew like already this is serious. It woke me up, snapped me uh, out of a dream, and I just said this like, this is like, I don't know how huge, but this is something. And now I'm saying, well, I have, you have to admit, like it's at least interesting to mention it as a timing, being influenced by the previous experiences. In my defense, but I'm still not making the connection. I'm still not going to make the connection. At the time, at least, I told myself clearly, don't say that's it. Don't say that. Keep it aside. It's something. It's interesting. You don't have to prove it. You can prove it. You don't have to have it in your mind stored as this is COVID. But now I think it's interesting to mention. Hey, we can all. I guess we can all then wonder about that. So uh, let me just check if this is recording. I'm not really sure. Right. All right, thanks. See. All right, now, and I guess these first three are important to set the grounds. Oh man, I'm never gonna finish this. I guess I might need to make a separate video just getting to the point. I mean, I've tried this multiple times, and I kind of like my confidence here now. So I might keep this one, and then I don't know how else I'm gonna keep myself going. All right, so those are the first three strange experiences. Dex said it. Shh, shh. So the third one, the voice. The voice is important. Uh, and now I guess let's go back to reality, and this is where I stop. That teaching job also kind of you simply, I guess I wasn't good enough, not good of a teacher. It just ran its course. I had less and less classes, and then it just I guess it was a drought of classes. So with that, it ends my my whole attempt of being on my own, and and with those dreams also started hitting, like I was overpowered on all fronts. Like and then I kind of, I don't want to say I gave up, but my little experiment of providing for myself and getting more independent the late as I started, kind of hit the wall. And I'm going back. So I moved back to my father's house. Close. It's a village actually, close to where to the city I now live in. So then that was, I guess, at June 2020. So 3 months after that kind of experience, uh, 3 months after that, I'm running out of the resources, and I didn't have any more energy to, to keep searching a job, and then I guess I gave up in a sense. I was in touch with my father, so I told him, like, I'm gonna ran out of money. I'm gonna do so. It is, I'm gonna come back to your place, and I'm gonna try. I'm gonna keep looking for a job, and uh, and then I'm gonna start saving again, and I'm gonna go with all of this again when I guess recharge myself. So I do I go to I go to his place, and now I developed the habit of of writing down dreams at a time. Right after actually I moved back to his place. I was looking for a job. I haven't written these because this is just things were hitting me, I guess. So I didn't know what to do with that. Let alone it would not even occur to me to write them down. It would be too much of a problem. Too much. It would be simply too much. So and then I guess I got a little bit calmer on the inside, and I started. I consider that well, I consider it still. I'm not doing it. I consider that very very meaningful. So I guess that was my way of doing something meaningful. I was attentively, and dream cap to be vivid, very vivid, very 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 strange. Uh, I was writing them down. I was interpreting them. I started reading Jung. I guess at the time I found it was what's the word? Uh, well, time time. It was a good timing of a find, I guess. Uh, I got to some degree. I got a lot of answers there to some degree. Yeah, and I keep doing that. I'm looking for a job, and then now this is important. I told my father about all these recent experiences. Now these same ones I'm trying to lay out here. Told him about the app. I told him about. I didn't tell him about obviously about the second one. It's relevant to him. I told him about the third one with the voice, and then the COVID. And also I said him exactly. I said him. Uh, I told him, like, I'm not connecting it. I'm just saying it. Hey, it is a little bit strange based on this previous. Exactly as I'm still doing it. So uh, and then I guess I had it was boiling in me. I had to say to someone who I'm gonna say, if not someone who's supposed to be closest to me. And I predicted his reaction. Obviously, I just had to remove it, remove it from my shoulders. Uh, I still haven't. Now I'm actually removing it from my shoulders, I guess. But at the time, and his reaction was predictable. He got worried. Obviously, he went to such silly lengths, even finding like advices online about like what I guess what he should do with me. And then he was offering me these ridiculous advices and whatnot. He's basically his conclusion was like, well, you're reading too much Dostoevsky and you are identifying yourself with the characters. I guess I don't know how's that relevant, or it wasn't even true. But even if it was true, I was relevant. Not really certain, but I was these kinds of advices. Although I do not resent that. I do not remark him any of that. I'm saying it just to set a scene. So, and then we would obviously go into a fight. This gets serious. I'm telling you something which uh, I have to tell you about something what's happening. Like I don't know what's happening, and this is the way now you look at it. So it started to become ugly, more I guess more tense. Obviously, no one appreciates if someone close to them think in any way they're like deranging. So and then this is done now. The most interesting happens. I guess this is the pivotal point. This is the time when so I obviously couldn't possibly explain to him. I just said as I said now, uh, and then this is what happens to him soon after. Don't know how much soon after. I'm gonna say a week or two, but at the time of that context of that time of that situation, uh, he had a dream about the voice. Interesting. Uh, Not about voice, but he dreamt exactly the way I would dream it with a different message. So he dreams the voice. He dreamt the voice, telling him that woman, like, and the voice said a woman, the name of a woman, old lady, but I'm not, I can't really remember the name. Uh, I actually never managed to remember the name. I asked so many times. Uh, anyway, so the voice says the name of a woman, and just says so. Just a short sentence. That woman by name will die, and that wakes him up. And now he has experienced what I told him, what I was telling him about, what I had experienced. And now that actually happens. Exactly, I said exactly, and I'm going to say 2 or 3 days after, no more than 3 days after that. So 2 or 3 days, I know when this happened because recently I'm planning to make this video, so I asked him to find me the date, to look back for the date when that woman died, and we know that he had a dream 2 or 3 days prior. So, and that happened, the woman died 5th of April, to so wait, right. I come back to his house in June, end of June 2020. I spend there until the end of the year next year. So this is the process of which I'm, I guess, summarizing my experiences to him, and then all that dynamic, and then April 2021, 5th of April 2021, he has that dream. Obviously, I told him prior to that about the voice, and and the dream says that woman, by calling her by her name, will die, and she dies 5th of April. And now, I guess not important, but frustrating thing, he doesn't tell me that. He didn't tell me at all. I guess I understand he would think now if he tells me, like, settings for him, I guess priority setting aside that this is very important, this is just a confirmation of what I'm just telling you, it happened to you. I mean, man, you can't ignore that. Like, don't be don't play it like that. And but I know his reason. He initially got very worried, and even when he got to know what I meant, because there was no really other way than something showing him exactly the way it was showing me, because how can I even explain to someone? How can I even paint a picture? And he got to know, and then he didn't tell me for some time. I basically dragged out of him because I noticed he's acting a little bit strange and have some strange remarks on the things. Uh, and then I dragged out of him. I knew, and then he admitted to me. And I mean, anyway, so I guess his reason was for not telling. Silly, ridiculous as the reason is. Uh, uh, that he didn't want me to perceive in my ways of thinking, so he knew if he tells me, even if it confirms that I was right, he didn't want me to persist in that manner. Yeah, it would just encourage me to persist in that manner. But I dragged it out of him, and it appears to, obviously it means more to me than to him, because it confirmed, well, it it really means more to me than to him. To him, that just happened, and did nothing to him. Basically, did not open him in any way that it did for me. But I guess I, I I do find the consolidation in the fact that that's enough for me. So, and I now can even more firmly, as I said, in retrospect, I will come back to the voice on the field. They all gonna stop breathing. Now I can even more firmly can say, well, this means COVID. I'm not yet. I'm not. I'm just getting closer to that now. Now it is more. Now it is more knowledge, less faith. Still, the faith is the element, but now it's the more knowledge, less faith. So I'm it's a more firmer clue that I could also say, well, that referred to COVID. I don't have to actually. I don't have to. If it referred, it did. If it didn't, it didn't. I silly as that sounds, I guess it's enough for me. But this is now very, again, same as my first experience, very self-evident, self-confirmative. Voice that says she will die, she dies in 2 days. Hey, that's let's not go into too much of a. We cannot go into too much of rationalizing this one. It doesn't allow itself to be rationalized. You take it as a face value. You can say this can happen, and then you 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 adopt that. You try to expand a little bit more of your the peripheries of your convictions, and you don't forget it. So, all right, and now let's go. I guess finally, all of this I feel like this should be now the second part of this whole last thing is also very complicated on its own. The most complicated thing is to connect the context to the, to the dream. But I guess these last ones don't really need the context. And now, a few months after that, so that's April 5th, 2021. A few months after that, it actually starts happening to me. So before that, only one time happened to me when that voice said they all like a threatening voice and about the not breathing part. Uh, until then, I just told him that he has it. He actually has the one that is much stronger. And then it starts happening to me. And now I hope I've set up my trajectory of reasoning in a good direction, because now I have one one thing about the context of the ones I'm going to talk about is important. I get why I don't know if I can answer that question, but I spent that, I guess, that year 2000 ending of 2020. That's when I made the twin flame video. I guess, yeah, I wanted to be December 12th because I missed November 11th. Wanted to be December 12th, 2020 for the reason because that's the only, I guess, the only time and date in well in history, one of that it's has a proper timing uh, for poetic reasons only, of course. And and I was consumed at the time and the following year. I was consumed by thoughts about that would concern Jesus. To be fully honest, I'm mostly curious. I don't know if I'm yes curious, and what not why curious. Uh, Curious about what makes a man. Well, first of all, say things like the things being said, like he, and then live that way. And then I was simply I was simply concerned by pondering about his life. What makes man walk that life? Where do convictions come from? Where the knowledge slash faith comes from? Primarily his. And and I guess what makes one say and do and live in a such way by those principles. Well, I guess that I would say that should concern everyone. And so that is what I was partially asking for, to know that. I actually asked, and I think I was given. I think that is what it happened. I was asking for that, and I was given that. All right, and now these new uh, vision like uh, communication with a voice coming from a higher position in an in unconscious come, uh, and here I am again very lucid. I guess that's enough of a setting context for them. So I was concerned about the Christ's life. I guess to some extent I was identifying. To be fully honest, I have to be honest. I'm curious, but at the same time I'm identifying myself with. I was, for example, I was thinking like, as I said in a previous video, like, okay, this is a theory. What could have made him do all of that? A love towards woman. I guess it's a good theory. We can make man climb to the cross. Why not? Why disregard it? And then I would say, like, I would have a dream that would like tell me I got the worst grade in history, which would point to. Uh, so from the context of that situation, the dream was inspired by, and then the answer would be like, it's not that. So that it's not like part of any twin flame journey. All the twin flame concept is more recent. I guess it stems for the Middle Ages or something. But hey, those are the turns and tragedies of love. But they can do serious things. So all right, I disregarded that thing, but I keep wondering, So it's not that. It's not proving something to a woman that wouldn't even work. It wouldn't even resonate. So it has to be principle. It is about that. That would even resonate through infinity, not or at least millennia. Okay, so I would spend that year feeling sorry for him because I guess there was certain sort of identification there, but like in a backwards way. I feel sorry for him because I feel sorry for me. Look what I'm going through, with how difficult this suffering for love is, and first all of that had to happen, and then the worst things manifested themselves later. So all of that kind of thinking like was killing me. That pushed me in some other sorrow. I spent a lot of time just crying for him. Actually, I think it's a little bit strange. I spent that year, I could say, crying for Jesus, for his life, for. I would give you an example, like. I would read Dostoevsky. Dostoevsky knew how to not get emotional about it, but how to depict Christ's sufferings in such a real, harsh, raw way that it pushed me to tears. I would read something like, and I cannot remember the quotations. One of the most famous works, probably Brothers Karamazov, or might be even Demons. Who knows? He always mentions something meaningful about Christ, and the way he would talk about it, like, just made me scream. It made me scream and weep. You just something would like do that in me. I watched what was the Dark Netflix series, very good TV series, Dark, famous one. That was the third season was at the time, so the series was coming to the end, and then the ending like would be like, well, the point was, and the cycle 33 years, and the cycle, and then these two twin flames, Adam and Eve, they go, they they go back in time, finally sent by the symbol of the self, the old man who is made a time machine, and and uh, and and they go in the last episode at the bridge, and it brings emotions actually back now when I talk about it. And they meet the son of a man who is behind, who is basically out of time. He made a time machine, and his son died, and all of that is happening now. That curse, because his son died, and then you realize, man, that's about Christ. All of this because his son died, and he's trying to fix it. He's trying to fix it, and these two, they're like what their role was to go finally back in time, and tell him that don't go on that bridge, and then you will die, and then save him, I guess. I don't think anyone expected that. Like, the 33-year cycle was interesting, but the end, that's strong statement. Your father loved you very much, and he would do anything for you, uh, and that just made me scream again. I mean, again, I'm on the verge of, like, seems like I don't know why. I still can't explain it. But all right, and so I'm trying to, like, give the context, I guess, from what comes out of that, and then I would, and then let's go then to that dream that I know the first time it happened it was the September 2021. It's like basically on the night on my birthday. So this is when I dream. I just suddenly become lucid in my bed, knowing I'm sleeping, dreaming, and in this time the the awareness, the consciousness, the self consciousness in a dream extended to the point that I just realized I'm, well, as you do, I guess, that I'm dreaming, and I also remember now I have the opportunity to ask. Remember that voice? Like, I would remember that voice. You talk to something. I mean, he talked to you. Maybe you can talk back. And I was given that chance, and I started thinking, okay, I'm gonna ask. Did Jesus resurrect? I'm gonna ask. And and then it works the way, like, when you ask that, you have to be really calm and, like, listen, and the answer will come from somewhere. And then the voice answers. First time I kind of knew I had this opportunity to ask that. It bothers me. That bothers me. That I don't know how to think about it. I don't know where to place that. I myself would say no. I would have to say no. I think it's safer to say no, because, well, it's not it's not like the issue of the belief. Like, it's it's safer to not believe in it without any ground. I guess the good argument would be, which I've heard, you could say the best argument for someone who wants to say I believe in it. I'm sidetracked now, by the way, but all right. I guess it's time. I feel like it's time to mention that. The best argument for me that I've heard, actually, is for if you ask someone, well, why do you believe in it? Why do you believe he resurrected? Well, why would these 12 people undergo such gruesome fates if they didn't believe in, if they were not certain that happened? They insisted on it. It's obvious they insist on physical resurrection. That's what makes the New Testament stand out. The narrative of the resurrection. It's not like the Gnostics would understand, like, it's symbolic, although there's a lot of the value in symbols and everything. But the real issue is the resurrection. Yeah. And I guess the best argument the believer could say is, well, I believe because why would these 12 people give their lives like that? And we know what happened to them, and you would think, if you're going with a lie or uncertain, not I won't even say lie, uncertainty with that happen, you would give up at some point. You would say, okay, all right, now, all right, I'm not gonna say anything. He didn't resurrect. You threatened to boil someone or skin someone. Well, you would not go with it anymore if you really don't know it happened. Probably the best argument I would say. Anything else you cannot touch. You cannot go in any other way of context or how it happened. You cannot go. There's no way. There's no an angle towards any sort of critical thinking about that. But this is the best argument you can do. And that, I guess that if you tell me that, I'd say okay, that's good enough. You should be a believer. And maybe the real one, as he wanted you to be. But I guess I haven't that in time at the time. I was just simply preoccupied with the issue of it. Even that wouldn't occur to me. And I would say I have something more solid than just saying that. Uh, well, these dreams that which all led to this final, and then this final one happened like in the course of last. Well, that stopped happening, yes, 2 years ago. Since then, I'm thinking how to talk about it. Only more recently, I'm thinking about how to film it, and now I feel like I'm doing an okay job. Um, and and I would say I had something more solid than what would, to me, be the best argument for the physical resurrection. Is why would they insist on it? After that, something literally answered to me, something that has proven itself to me through my father's dream and through well, this one is like still shaky, and the second one is not confirmed, but it works well with the first one, and first one is self-evident, and the fourth one is self-evident. The fourth, not mine but my father's experience, but I take it as confirmation of mine. Self-evident, worth mentioning. Not proven, but I know. uh, I said it a little bit more arrogantly now. I felt it. uh, I I I believe. Yeah, it's better to say I believe. The third one, well, interesting. Don't know what to do with it. Would not dismiss it. Would not take it most with the 100% conclusion. The fourth one, my father's self-evident, good enough for me. And now, again, new one. I'm talking to it openly, whatever that is. And I'm saying, so I remembered, I guess, that issue bothers me, and I just go out and go out. I just go about it and ask, did he physically resurrect? And then I hear what I've heard. Third time, but I didn't ask for anything. First time with the voice. Uh, so I'm here. The voice says loud and clear, yes. Now, this is not the only thing. This happened now in the course of the next 2 years, probably 6 more times, because I wasn't convinced. I kept getting opportunities, and I kept asking, constantly doubting, because as I said, I would myself say no, and I guess that's why I'm crying so much, because then it's a tragedy of cosmological proportions. Then you go about it that way, always putting the whole putting the whole world, present, past, and future, before yourself. I mean, I mean, and then what? Gruesomely die, not resurrect. I mean, and then so I get my answer first time. The dream happened. I don't know how relevant it is. I guess the the details of the dream are I would say less relevant. Now I feel like less relevant. But so that was the first, and then I get the answer yes. I I wake up. I'm like saying, okay, now this happened. I remember my past experiences. I say, all right, I have to treat it everything I have to treat it well carefully, but I have to acknowledge something about it, and I have to give it the same justice that I've given the previous ones experiences. And so um, and then tomorrow. But I mean, it's a difficult issue, and I'm not convinced because now I'm asking many questions. Now I'm also very familiar with Jungian psychology at the time. I wanna drag all of that not just through the religious landscape, and I know it's coming from what Jung called homo religiosus, and archetype in us that all possess of religious structures. It doesn't matter, like if you believe or not believe or atheist or what faith, it does not matter. We do have it. Uh, we do operate to some extent, in some way, by out of our religious structures. So, but I don't just want to drag it to a religious landscape. I'm also dragging now to psychological landscape. And obviously, sometimes, well, I would call in my prayers, in my dreams as well. I would address something as fathers, and then I would later think about it as self. So I'm trying to to well to put it to find it for itself, from my perspective, the most fitting place, I guess. I have no problem with calling it father. I have no problem with calling it self, depending, like if I'm like going now more, obviously tending to more emotional, I would call it father. If I would tend to more, well, I don't know how I can say objective, but then I would regard it as self. But uh, so here, and then the question appears, well, not much later in my mind. So I had experience with what I would call shadow as well in dreams. It was a little shadow that haunted me for years, like until I got more friendly with it and knew how to contend with it, and I would say integrated. I had a dream, but I would basically pull that shadow on myself and come into final agreement with it, and I would call that one that also happened at the time. Prior to that, I would say, dream, I wrote it down. I can look it up. I'm not sure what date it is. When I Maybe it was after. I don't know. This one with this question. So all sorts of those are psychological. Those are amazing dreams. Amazing dreams. They're not the biggest dreams, but they are the dreams when Jung would call that archetype of awakens, which is not a trivial thing in psychological words and realm of psyche. That something happens there. It's an encounter with luminosity as well. So uh, yeah, what yeah, all right. I guess I should not sidetrack that much. I should go back to the dream, and then um, so I asked the question. I get the answer yes. I wake up. I get to acknowledge it, and then tomorrow, I'm tomorrow now. I'm literally having the same one. But now the conversation between me and the void, well, I might put in quotes around voice, is a little bit deepened. I guess I got more more opportunity and more time in a dream to spend and ask question the voice. And so I asked again. I remember this was the second day after my birthday. Second time I hear the voice. Second time I asked the question. Uh, right tomorrow I ask again, and now I come with three questions. I don't know if I used the word father. I can't remember if I guess I should go go and check it. I wrote it down in a document. All right, the point will be the same. Uh, I already mentioned it. I call it sometimes father, sometimes self. Both, well, both resonate. Uh, the I guess I'd ask. I guess I started by asking, father, did it really happen? Like I've emphasized. I guess no, no, no. I'm again just asking. I guess I should go take my notes now. But this would extend the format of the. This would extend the explanations. I'm never gonna reach the point now. Uh, I wanna say the exact words that I said. Relevant or less relevant, I don't know. So let's say I asked again, did Jesus resurrect? I asked, and the voice again says yes. Now this is now a day after the first time I had a conversation with it. Which, and now I asked the second question. Can it happen again? Yeah, that's what I asked. And the voice says yes. Okay. And then I asked, for some reason, I had a twist to it, small twist. And I asked, but does it have to, like, does it have to happen again? Like, first was, can it happen? And then but does it really have to happen? Like, yeah, does it really have to happen? And to that voice says, of course, which was a little bit of sussy answer. I mean, why saying just yes to can it happen and say of course to that it must happen again, like it must be repeated? What not really sure, not even sure what I meant by why I asked must it happen. And then the answer was of course. And then I asked the fourth question, and then I asked, and this is, I wasn't informing the question, wasn't making the point. I said like, I was like, listen, if you are some religious residue, I don't know what residue even means, some let's say psychic ancestry remain that is talking to me, and this is your belief that you are confessing to me, and I'm asking, and some of my ancestors, I don't know where I'm reaching, where I'm is answering, and this is your faith. I'm talking to someone who talks from faith. I don't want it. I want a real truth. I say, I don't want to hear anyone's belief. Like, I don't know who you are, but don't tell me the belief. Tell me if it really happened. And I keep asking that. Like, I keep asking that way. Like, I just keep doubting, I guess. Why? I don't know. It's difficult to believe in it. I guess it truly is. And like I'm saying, if you are some of my religious ancestors I'm talking to, then I don't care about your opinion. And then I add to that, I got some courage for some reason, and I acted like that, and I acted out, and then I followed that by the question, who are you? Who am I talking to? And then it says, it simply answers, God. And the moment it says God, I'm in my mind, like in my going consciousness in that state, it like almost like an awakened suspicion, like I'm like, yeah, I don't think, I don't know why, but I don't think you can reach just God like that. Like it has risen doubt in my mind right away just by saying word God. And then to even add to it, it just started laughing right after that. It says God, and then a few seconds pause. I'm contemplating it, and I'm like, God, come on. And then it adds like some kind of sly, or not sinister but sly laugh, like ha 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 ha. Like the laugh carried, again, the feeling in me was the laugh carried the words, I tricked you. God, I tricked you. Didn't say that, just a laugh. It ended with a laugh, the dream ends with a laugh, I wake up. So that was the second time, although the conversation was a little bit deepened. And the first time was just, did he resurrect? Answer, yes. Now this, it's a very cohesive, comprehensive conversation to play out in such state in a dream. Like, you have to admit that. Like this, like this line of questioning, like, did it happen? Can it happen? Must it happen? Maybe not if I would have an opportunity like to ask God in like for real with all the awareness and consciousness I'm given at this moment, I think I would do it a little better job. But for the like the state in a dream, which guess the level of consciousness is only allowed by the unconsciousness, uh, it's pretty remarkable. So so these those answers mean something to me. Now, I managed to ask reasonably structured uh, questions, and I got a very clear answer to them. So I have to take again. What do I do now with that? This is the second time I have this experience. Well, now my this to some. Well, to be fully honest, I kept doubting it because the way it's given, and then it's not there are other elements to it, like the way I guess now I feel it's relevant. When I would have the dream first time, I would see when the moment I become lucid and I know I'm in the bed dreaming and I'm about to ask the question, I look at the wall, I see the claws, for example, and then right away I know, well, shadow again. I, like body, I think I made peace with you. Like, what do you want from me? And then because it had to, it was a process going for a year or two when I was full of terrors and nightmares that I had to process this. So it wasn't really that pleasant in the beginning. It's even most of the time it was like some sleep paralysis, and I would I now I think I've come to understanding that sleep paralysis happen when the archetype is about to awaken. So it's a very unpleasant thing for the consciousness, and you might experience it as sleep paralysis. If you get braver though, and you manage and you find strength to not wake up but perceive in resisting the sleep paralysis, like the lucidness, it's it's like this dreadful feeling something horrific is about to happen that actually paralyzes you, and it's a very comfortable feeling. It even it's often felt bodily in a dream. But why am I sidetracking now again? All right, uh, it's an opportunity if you resist a little bit, hold on, manage, uh, that you will see something play out in the very room, and it might be good for might be a certain insight. So, but that's a process. It was well, it would be understatement say harassing. It was abusing me for years. And then I see like in a dream when I'm about to ask the question, and I don't know if I say father did it happen. I just ask again. I just ask did it happen. Later I was thinking like now because of the how this last one the dream ended, the voice saying God and laughing. Now I'm starting the question, and then the like the shot the clause on the wall, scary clause, before I'm about to ask. So saying archetype has awakened, I'm saying something answers, and now I guess now I'm thinking, well, this is why this is so complicated for me, because I'm really going about putting where these things truly belong to the best possible, to the most possible extent I can. Uh, Now I keep wondering, well, who is saying? Is it shadow or is it self? Which aspect is saying? Which aspect has awakened? Uh, that I hear as a voice, because obviously it's on the other side of the borderline of my consciousness. It's not me. It's not ego. It's easy to rationalize that and say, well, that's the aspect of you. Yes, that's aspect of me, but the unconscious one. It's a big difference. That's what you don't really when rationalists take that argument in rationalizing dreams. That's what they usually go for. They don't take into consideration that there's a big difference between the conscious and the unconscious part of you, because the conscious part of you is also can possess you and be instead of you, and it's still you. Well, yeah, it's still you, but well, you get lost in there uh, in uh, counter to the when you actually integrate the parts, and then it's you consciously you telling yourself something. So from that I can say that's not the case. I'm not telling myself. I would rather tell myself that it didn't happen. if I'm gonna follow that argument, that it's me. It's not me. Don't know what it is. Haven't ever figured out. I don't have to now. It's enough. It's proven itself to me. So many strange things happened. So these are the pinnacles that I'm separating of those, and so it's not important. But let's go back to the timeline and time frame of what I present as the biggest clue for when the holding statement for the final statement that he had indeed resurrected physically. Uh, so right, I got lost again. I need a second to collect my thoughts. So yeah, now I'm wondering, and yes, try to justify myself. Why am I still now wondering, doubting? Uh, I'm wondering because now I know what I mean. I don't know what self is, but I had a feeling, a little bit of, Jungian uh, influence a little. I have met the shadow. I've danced with it a lot, tortured me. I've conquered it, some extent of it. Not all. Not going to be uh, arrogance claiming that it can swing back very easily. So I've wrestled with that. I know what shadow means. I know what it awakens in a dream. I don't know what it means when self-awakened. That's really the problem, because you could say it should feel even more numinous, since it's the central archetype, the one in charge basically of all the dynamics in the unconscious. So basically, all the unconscious life. We like to also say life itself, but I don't know what are the limits of it. Question is, what part of the hand of its hand is in the nature. But all right, so we talk about nature in us, uh, which is already enough. If it's in charge of that, it's already very. It's not omnipotent. It's not omnipotent, but it's arranges things. It's omniscient in that case. It sees all the corners of the collective psyche and every individual psyche, of course, without need to point to that. And again, why did I sidetrack again? Why did I just got to the point? I remember the point. I just went rambling about self again. Uh, all right, so the the all right, yeah. So I remember now why I'm doubting again after asking for two times. I'm doubting because uh, because now I don't know who's talking. I had this ending that said, God, ha ha ha, why laughing? Why make me doubt? Uh, and then I know what shadow is. I know, but it didn't even matter. It didn't matter because whatever it is, it's proven itself. Why would it lie? Why would it lie? Why would say resurrection is real lying? Would that be in the interest? But now I cannot. Here I'm trying to outsmart the devil. I guess I'm putting myself in a position like, why would it lie? What evil can come out of that? What bad can come out of that? I'm not sure. To really believe it, then to to die without resurrection. Who would know what would happen if you truly believed? Oh my God. Right. Let's go to the point. Uh, so now I am concerned with the question: who is speaking? Is it shadow or is it self? And I guess now the third time when I ask, when I get the opportunity, it happened like probably like 5 times. I would have to get my little red book when I wrote the past 2 years, the last 2 years when I was writing are in there. So, but I don't wanna go over it. It's gonna take much more than I've planned. Uh, so let's do the third time now. I ask, and now I think I'm almost certain I address the voice in a dream, like I say, and this was now I've gathered some resources again. I'm back on my feet. I got a job. I got a teacher job again, a much better one. Still doing it, by the way. Uh, the and now things are starting to go well. I'm still writing dreams, and I'm having no problems financially, and I go out on my own again. And I think this is now the third time when it happens, when I was on my own in another. I was living in another town, uh, and then uh, a third time I ask again. I got freedom of possibility of asking, and I remember all that. I do even remember first two times that I asked. I remember all the previous conversations with it, and the similar experiences. And then after the third time I asked, but Father, who is answering if Jesus resurrected? Who is it? And I say exactly, is it you or is it shadow? Now, driven by these previous one with claws and then the sly laughter. Uh, so, is it you or is it Father? Is it Father or is it sorry Father? Father, who is speaking? Who is telling? Who is answering this question? Is it you or is it shadow? And then the answer just says me. But then and then again, like if you start going to the rabbit hole of the doubt, like it at some point it's pointless to doubt, because now I think, well, that was shadow saying me, and then what I'm again uh, in the same position. So how many times is how many times will satisfy me? By the way, it happened one more time. So now it says me, and I'm like glad for the answer. Like, okay, calms me down a little bit. It's the aspect of the self. Uh, so I don't have to now bother with the possibly lying part. Well, yeah, okay. And and uh, and now the fourth time. Let's get to the fourth time. Fourth time now. I guess I dropped it all of it, all that faith in it, and again I had again I'm lucid in a dream, and I ask, Father, but it really happened. And this is the time when I put such a we said it in such temperament, I guess, in such uh, way. Uh, Father, but it really happened. And then this is when I hear the answer again for the first time, a little bit more angrily answer, and feel at the same time angrily and disappointed, like, why are you even asking anymore? And still answering me. But like, why, even? It just says like this. So I asked, is it Father? But it really happened. So that was literally four times. Third time was, who is it speaking? And it says me, and then ended. And I guess then I asked, Father, did I become a better person all this time? And I guess at that point, it even that wasn't one of the that wasn't the Christmas date. I guess 2022. Yeah, 2021 September. It's been happening to me. My father says in 2022, I am now on my own again. That's when the third time and fourth time happened. And at some point, they wouldn't even tell me, just leave me alone. I would talk to something that which would tell me, just leave me alone. Like, stop asking questions. I had that as well. I thought I could consider that funny. I mean, it made me laugh actually when I woke up. Uh, so now it's this fourth time. Father, but did he really resurrect? And I'm like a little bit of silence. I'm waiting for it. Like, uh, and then he said, he answered something between. I remember he answered something between, because it was not that clear as it was before. I guess it was, well, the tone was angry and disappointed, like something and the words were, we have in Serbian two ways to answer the question confirmatively. Like, you could say yes or you could say it is. And it said, and the problem now I had at that time is with because voice said something between yes and it is. Well, whatever it is, again, both are confirming answers, but again, I wasn't satisfied because I couldn't hear uh, clearly yes or clearly it is. Both would be confirming answers, but I didn't clear them. I didn't hear them clear enough. I heard something in between yes and it is, strangely enough, and it had this a little bit angry and more like disappointing tone, which basically was telling, stop asking, like, come on, give it, like, like yeah, like yes, yes, the dog, and that's would like it would sound in Serbian. Uh, and then I'm like, all right, and so I guess 4 times would say it's more than enough. Same question, consistent answers, and I don't know if it happened for any other time. What else was regarding to that? It was 4 times. I said it was five. Maybe it was even 5 or 6 times. It will be the same. Well, in one of these, there was also the prolonged conversation. I would It would also tell, probably not the one that was disappointed with me, but it also said that he didn't listen to something. I don't know what, never got the answer what, but he didn't listen to something. Yet the answer is yes, he resurrected, but he didn't listen something. I don't know what it referred to, and it also I would say it was coming from the voice, uh, which kind of again that had a positive effect on me because like, well, it kind of encourages the thought, well, after all, he also was only human, like, well, it's not is it even possible to hear, to listen to something that much transcendent than ego, something of that ultimate position. uh, how can you even listen to that? How can you fully listen? You can't. Like, okay, so there was something that he didn't listen, don't know what. I mean, it's not really important. Don't know why I'm saying that one. The point is that the answers to resurrection, points about the resurrection. And now I guess I wanna mention something else because this is only, this only stands on what happened, which I guess it will be enough for me. That is enough for me to say that I believe it happened. I would like to say I know it happened, and that's all. That's also okay, and that's cute in a sense. But I do believe it happened, and I think I have a good reason to believe that it happened because this voice it proved itself to me. It proved itself to me to that, with that situation with that woman dying with, uh, and then other things. So it's already in my. This is the last part of the video that cut off, and I I don't think I can do without it. It is the part in which I would, uh, I could use the word vision more justifyingly, because, and it's also the part with, uh, with which I wrestle the most, if I should even put it. But I'm not really sure what do I have without. I feel like my argument is still weak from the outside perspective. Because what do I have? I have a dream in which I could see things around me. Okay, I have one next unconfirmed one. I have the next voice. I mean, how did I call it? Interesting one, but I'm not really. Uh, for my own sake, I'm not daring to say it has more serious implications. And then I have my father's one, which is a strong one as well, but that's all I got. And then my experiences with the voice, which could be just held on its own, whatever those are. None of it is, for me, it is enough because there is a consistency in it which I'm certain of. And obviously I cannot lay out this the way that I experienced it. If it feels like the more I try to paint it, the more enthusiastic I get about it, talking about it. It seems that I'm just taking away from it more. That's why I felt listening to myself talking from the last 30 minutes. But it frustrated me listening to myself, honestly. So I think this part is crucial, and this is where the camera cut off, and then I was wrestling with that part. Maybe that's something telling me I shouldn't say it, but I don't know. This is the part where I also raise stakes for myself a little bit, and to add to the argument, because this is actually a more serious statement. So, well, let's go. Let's go on with it, I guess. So I would mention I will continue mentioning the parts with the voice in the experience in the time of 5 years. I'm basically only extracting the core narrative that I very deeply feel it is relevant. So as I said, if something's not true, nothing works. All right. So the next one would be this was well more than 2.5 years ago. The last time I was asking about the resurrection part was, I just checked my little dream book. It was 7th of July 2022. This is where I asked, Father, is it you or is it shadow? And the day after is another dream with the voice. Also, here with serious visionary elements as well. And the voice says very clearly, our president, president of our country, Serbia, chooses West. And then also there was a comment attached to it, like Europe is commending him. And then the picture zooms out and goes across the world to the east. And this is where I see the fanatic masses gathered celebrating someone very, very dangerous. It scared me a little bit. And next to before it zoomed in again into the square, city square where these people were gathered, before that was a city sign with the name of the city. It started with K, but I couldn't remember. I couldn't remember the moment I woke up. Doesn't matter. It seemed like it was something under the. I mean, I don't know, but it seemed like it was something of something which would undergo under the communist regime. I know when I woke up, I thought, well, if this is what's going in the east, I'm kind of glad he chooses west. And this was so that's like 8th of July 2022. So I now don't know if the dream refers to that present time, because there's no way of knowing, like, publicly, like this is the fact, it cannot be known who chooses what alliances, how the alliances are made. There's no way that does not get to public view sight. So if it meant at the time, or if it was meant to happen sometime in the future, I'm not really sure. I'm just saying it. So our president chooses West. So be it. And this is the other one also now. This is the serious one, actually. And I haven't written this one. I know that it happened around in the scope of the month after that one. I'm certain about that. I think it happened after. It was around that time, and no more than a month probably after the last one with the voice. And this time the voice says the Serbian Republic. Actually, I'm not really sure what's the English name for it is, because not to be confused with our country, Serbia. I think it's Serb Republic, or more officially, Bosnian Serb Republic is the name. And the voice said that republic, Serbian Republic, Republika Srpska, will succeed itself. So that was also around probably end of July 2022. And when the voice finished with the statement, the map moved to our country, and I could see very vividly basically being cut into pieces. So like it was cut in, I'm not really sure how many pieces, like maybe even 10 pieces, and these pieces were sliding a little by little from the map. Like that's all in the one, all in the one imagery being shown to me. So, well, telling that our country will completely, I guess, be torn to pieces, and being that it's in the same dream after the voice said Serb Republic will succeed itself, because that's the entity in the Bosnia. So from the Bosnia, and I guess this is the result of it. Now our country, Serbia, is going to be torn to pieces. It seems relevant. And this is the part I'm wrestling to say, because I was under my own trip. If I say it out loud, then it's going to happen. But here's the thing. Lately, you can hear these talks, the idea about succession of Serb Republic is put out politically. And 2 years ago, there's no iota of mentioning that. There's nowhere you could hear that possibly. And now more and more. So, which is telling me, and I was even at the time, I was certain, I mean, following my, I'm gonna say following my feeling about what these voice dreams / visions are, I was pretty confident that those are the ones that are gonna come true, even 2.5 years ago. And now I could hear it all over the news, like that. There's, I mean, not all over the news, but you can start that there's a commotion about it more and more. So it's not even that encourages me to finish with my video or say it. It's like I don't know. Anyway, so that's all supposed to serve the purpose of me giving the legitimacy to this voice. And this is basically the core narrative that I have extracted of all the crazy experiences I've had. And this is where I would finish my expose about Jesus' resurrection. So I just want to put it out there. I just want it to be out there before shit hits the fan, because I am not here to make myself a prophet or anything. I am here to talk about his resurrection, or at least that is what I'm telling myself. So it is for him. And also, good luck us.